Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We will begin shortly. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining our RV Buying 101 Guide to Becoming a Happy Camper virtual workshop tonight. We've had several virtual workshops over the past year, and sometimes technology does not always work the way we want it to. So, if we do face some technical difficulties, we ask that you please be patient with us. We also know that there is a lot going on in our lives right now, so please know that Ardent is here for you. If you need to ask a question during the workshop, please click the Questions tab on your dashboard and type in your question. The photo to the left is the screen of an iPad, and the photo to the right is the screen of a desktop. Throughout the workshop, during our Q&A session, at the end of the presentation, we will communicate the questions to our speaker. Please know that this workshop is being recorded and will be posted to Ardent's website within the next few days. Tonight we have Steve Roberts from Ardent with us. Steve is a longtime RVer and has a passion for sharing his knowledge and helping our members, whether they're purchasing a car or even an RV. So Steve, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Lisa. Today we're going to be discussing getting the RV of your choice. The agenda is going to start off with homework to do before shopping, weighing new versus used RVs, RV features to consider before sealing the deal, and tips on negotiating for your best possible price. So let's start off. There's a question now that you should be seeing. What type of RV are you thinking about purchasing? Motorhome, which is a drivable unit. Travel trailer, which is a standard pull-behind, also including fifth-wheel models as well. Or maybe you're undecided at this point. Please share with us. Okay, so at this point, it looks like we have 100% undecided. So and that's just fine. And we can talk a lot about both travel trailers and motorhomes. Okay, so homework to do before shopping. So there's certain things that we want to touch on before we get out into the dealership. Okay. What type of camper are we going to be looking for? And most importantly, how many people are we going to be bringing along with us when we're camping? Obviously, we're going to want to have the accommodations to fit the family or just maybe for the couple. Decide if you want to be able to drive this RV or if you plan to have a vehicle to tow it. You want to be able to narrow down your RV types and length before you go out to the dealership, and that way you can be more proficient and save a lot of time. A lot of people think about getting a used RV for their first camper, and that's a really good idea. There's some catches to that as far as being able to know what you're getting into with a pre-owned. Things to consider. The RV lifestyle. There's many different ways to go about RVing. Some people are just road trippers and want to get out there and hit the open road. Other people have a destination they'd like to hit and make a plan to go and spend 2 weeks in one location, maybe Myrtle Beach or Nashville or wherever you might want to go. Other people, like myself, I'm a seasonal camper. My camper is at a campground and it stays there all year round, and I can enjoy that from the months of April to October. Everybody's a little bit different. There's others also too that like to go to events and sometimes need toy haulers to enjoy those events. Have an idea of where you'll be going before you're going to go out and start shopping for an RV, because that's going to have a considerable impact on what you consider. Uh, do a little brainstorming on what you're going to be using the RV for. Are you just going to be, hanging out in it, or is it going to be a place to hang your hat? Do you need it to be able to haul a dune buggy, a motorcycle, sports car, dirt bikes, whatever? There's many different things that you can do with that. Think about what you're going to do when you're not using the camper as well. And this gets a lot of people in trouble because all of a sudden you have to find a place to store it. They're often not small RVs, and you can't always put them in front of your home or alongside your house in the driveway. So I always recommend for people to get as familiar with camping as possible before you invest the money. And if that means going out and visiting campgrounds and walking through and see the area around there, see what kind of enjoyment you can find in that area, whether it be hiking, shopping, whatever you enjoy, do that. Get out there and really experience it and see if it's something you like to do. You can talk to other people at the campgrounds. The people are always welcoming you to engage and have conversations about their camper and the camper they think you should maybe move toward. Some people like to rent mobile motorhomes and try it out that way as well, and that's an awesome way to see if it's something you want to engage in. There's a little bit of work to be done when you set up and break down, and that's part of the fun of it too. But it's not always what you might think it is. So get out there and try it. Most campgrounds nowadays that I've experienced have cabins that are available, and some of them are very, very nice and spacious. You can get them in different sizes depending on the size of your family and friends that are coming along, and you can actually experience the campground firsthand with an overnight stay without having to rent a motorhome and so forth. So that's always a plus. Okay, budget. Obviously, if you're paying cash, then you know what your budget is. However, if it's going to be something that you want to finance, then you need to take a closer look at where your finances are and go to our Ardent website and to resources where you can use the online calculator for payments and see what you can afford at what particular payment and see what's going to be comfortable for you and where your spending limits are. As your credit union, we want you to be in a financially healthy position, even most importantly when you're buying your RV. Think about the additional expenses involved. Again, storage of the RV. If you can't store it on your property, there's an additional expense for that a lot of times. And fuel, if you're using a motorhome, can be quite expensive, whether it be diesel or gas. Maintenance, winterizing a camper is not as bad as you might think, but it's an expense. And then of course the stays that you have at the different campgrounds, of course, is more money that you would have to consider having to spend, along with other additional amenities that you might engage with at the campgrounds. Most campgrounds, they'll have golf carts for rent. Some will have boat rentals. Some will have horseback riding and things like that. And so, there's like any other outing, there could be additional expenses that you want to consider there as well. there's also preventive maintenance that you might want to consider with that too, which can be a little bit of money. Most important thing to do is to get pre-approved before you're out and shopping, so you truly know where you are with the payment, and that everything is set up for you in advance, and that can give you some bargaining power as you pass through RV dealerships, where you can have that leverage in the negotiations, which we'll get into that a little bit more. All right. So, Ardent's RV loans. Determine how much you can afford to pay for the RV with Ardent. Okay. So we offer RV loans, and we can, on a motorhome, which is drivable again, and you can see by the picture there, we can go up to $150,000 on a loan or a refinance, and we can finance that for up to 180 months. So that allows you to have a payment that'll be a little bit more palatable, I'm sure. Low fixed rates with auto pay, that's a real plus. And it's not always such a burden. It's automatically happening whether you're thinking about it or not. Okay. Travel trailers, the tow behinds, that the limit on that will for RV loans is up to $100,000, which you can get a lot of camper for these limits. Again, that's a 180-month term available, and again with a low fixed rate with auto pay as well. So again, we're going to be able to put that payment in a nice position for you in your budget.
Steve, before we move forward, we do have a question that came in.
Okay.
And the question is, do you have any tips on finding campgrounds to go to?
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's obviously Google, and you can Google and find campgrounds close to you if you want to make a short weekend trip or go to different areas. There's Good Sam's is a great resource. They actually put out a big thick book of different campgrounds across the country, and they're divided up by states in that book. There's Rand McNally is still that. Rand McNally is a camping guide that my parents used when I was a little child, and is still in business. That gives you a good feel of the campgrounds that are out there, what they have to offer, how they're rated, so forth and so on. Whether they can accommodate different size campers, if they have tent camping, and the amenities as well.
All right, and one more question. You talked about preventative maintenance briefly. Can you give us an idea of what that entails?
Well, sure. Preventive maintenance, water purifiers, campers that have holding tanks, the black water tanks and the gray water tanks where all your wastewater goes, being able to flush those out. They have pods and other chemicals that you can use in them to break down any wastewater to make sure that system keeps operating the way it should be. Obviously, cleaning and maintaining the inside and outside of it. Checking caulking locations around the edges of the roof and windows and so forth. Making sure that those seals haven't cracked. There's conditioning treatments for the roofs of the RVs. It's a very pliable material, and there's cleaners and conditioners for that material as well that you should probably take care of. In the wintertime, it's extremely important that the water lines all get blown out, or any drinking water line antifreeze, RV antifreeze, is pushed into the line so that the pipes cannot freeze during the winter. These are all things that are really important. There's other things as well. Obviously, if you're talking about a motorhome, then the mechanics of the powertrain come into play as well, which is you should be used to with your own personal vehicles.
All right, that was our last question for now, Steve. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so let's talk about weighing new versus used. And yes, there's the obvious benefits of buying a brand new RV. It comes with a warranty that's built into it. You don't have any evidence of a previous owner in there, and you have a better chance of getting exactly what you'd like to have with the features and the layout that you really want. The downside to that fact is that you're going to pay more for a brand new camper, obviously, and the initial depreciation is going to be much greater on a brand new than a pre-owned. And similar to how cars depreciate. Okay, the fun part and the difficult part at the same time with a brand new camper is learning how to work everything and making sure that you're taking care of things the way they're supposed to be, and finding out maybe if there are any issues or kinks in the system that you're able to work through those issues along with the manufacturer. The newer ones, the insurances, are a little higher because if you are financing, you have to have full coverage on that. So, that part could be a little bit more expensive than, say, buying something at a much lesser pre-owned level that where you'd only be mandatory to have liability for it. Okay. So buying the used, now the obvious pros to this one are almost the opposite. It is a lower price. You should be able to get that pre-owned RV at a much lesser price, and of course the insurance will be lower as well, and the initial depreciation has already gone past before you came in contact with it. Hopefully the previous owner is taking good care of it, and all the kinks have been worked out of it, and you at the same time you still have the option to get extended warranties if you so choose. They're just a little bit more difficult to find, and we can certainly help you with that part if you need be. Cons, yes, you have that previous owner. Yes, maybe they didn't keep it as clean as you like it to be. Possibly they didn't maintain some things that you're not aware of. And you have to be a little bit more flexible shopping on a pre-owned because you don't have a field of RVs to select from in the exact size you want as you would on a new purchase. So there is a limited selection of makes, models, sizes, and colors and so forth. Okay.
Steve, we do have a question that came in about used RVs.
Sure.
The question is, how do I know what vehicle to use to tow a camper?
Wow, that's a big question and a very good question. When we're towing a vehicle, you have to keep a lookout on and compare what the weight rating is of the camper in comparison to what the tow rating is of the vehicle you're going to use to tow it. Usually, in most all cases, we're using pickup trucks. Occasionally, people will be using SUVs, but for the most part, pickup trucks are the first choice. There are, most campers are going to, the lightest of campers, I should say, are going to require at least a half-ton vehicle. F-150, Chevy 1500, Dodge 1500, Ram 1500 pickup trucks, and of course, as you get into the bigger campers, then you have to go to 3/4 ton and 1 ton. You also, when you get into those, it's most likely you're going to be pulling with a fifth wheel hookup, which is requires a hookup in the middle of the bed. So there's things to consider. The most important thing when you are considering a particular truck and a particular size camper, do not cut it close. When you're on a highway and you don't have the power or the suspension to support the camper behind you, the camper's at a high speed. The camper's going to start fishtailing and really give you a lot of trouble pulling safely. Obviously, going up hills and so forth, it becomes an issue. But more importantly, when you have high side winds or you have a tractor trailer passing you, things like this, you're just not going to control that camper as well as if the truck was rated above what the weight capacity of the camper is. So don't cut it close. You're only going to cause yourself a lot of misery, and it actually becomes exhausting to drive when you're underpowered for the size camper you have.
All right, that was our last question for now. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, RV features to consider before sealing the deal. So a lot of people, are going to just go out to a dealership and say, I want that one. Well, good luck. I don't recommend it. Impulsive buys usually come with some regret. Pending the pandemic and availability, RV shows are a great place to be able to meander through multiple sizes and styles and so forth, and you can really get a good feel. In our area here in the Philadelphia region, Oaks Expo Center, the Philadelphia Expo Center, every year has a great show. Unfortunately, it did get canceled for this spring, but I'm sure they'll be back soon. And then in Hershey, there's another really big show that you could get lost in with all the different RVs that they have. Everything from pop-ups to 40-foot long motorhomes that are just breathtaking. So visit RV Trader. It's similar to, it's the same company as autotrader.com, but RV Trader is a place I go to and look around at different RVs. You can select different makes. You can sort by size, so forth and so on. Renting an RV is always a great idea. I haven't found anybody that rents trailers. They may be out there. I've never come in contact with them. Most of the time, there are motorhomes, but to experience the camping world, it's not a bad way to start out. Look at more than one floor plan and manufacturer. This is really important. The size of the family, the size of the people in the family. I'm not a small person, and I had a camper before the one I have now, and it was just uncomfortable to maneuver around, and thus I upgraded to a larger. But definitely consider different floor plans. Pay attention to the space in various rooms to that point. Getting in and out of bed with a narrow area compared to something that has a bed that has a headboard slide out and opening up the floor at the foot of the bed and so forth, giving you much more room. Actually stand inside the shower and imagine what it would feel like to actually be able to take a shower in that area. Again, a previous camper that I had, if I tried to take a shower and wash my knee, I would hit my head against the wall of the shower. It just didn't fit. So make sure things are the right size for you. Take a look at the counter space in the kitchen. Are you able to prepare a meal in there without too much strain? We are camping, and yes, we should be roughing it somewhat, but you have to be functional too. Research the quality of the construction. Really good places to look are down inside cabinets, behind drawers. Lift the bed up and look at the storage area underneath the bed for stapled together wood and glued together wood, opposed to more solid construction. And when you see the difference, you'll know. Stay away from wood frame campers. Some campers are actually inside the walls framed with wood. Go with aluminum. Okay, obviously it's a stronger material and will be much more durable. When we drive and tow these campers, they're gonna get weakened if it's a wood frame, and from there you develop leaks in the roof and things like that. So I highly recommend if you can go toward a aluminum frame camper or RV or motorhome, that's the proper way to go. For travel trailers, understand the unloaded vehicle weight, which we've already discussed a little bit about the towing compared to the tow rating of your truck. Okay, here's a couple of examples of different floor plans. This is a motor home, and under the front bunk that's on the right side where it says 57 by 95 are driver's seats under there. And then you see slide outs that are accommodating the dinette and the queen size bed, so forth. A very small shower in that particular one. Here again, this is another motorhome, and they show evidence of the front driver's seats with the bunk above and the queen bed in the rear. One of the things that you're not going to think of until you're actually out there using these is, are you able to sit in the common living area and be able to see the TV, be comfortable in there, and so forth. A lot of the RVs are talking about sleeping capacity. Sleeping capacity not only includes the bunk and the queen bed. They're talking about the sofa being a scissor fold out bed, and then the dinette said the table drops down and the benches become part of the bed along with the tabletop where you put the other cushions. And that accommodates another 4 people. So this camper here, they're going to tell you sleeps 8. Well, let me tell you, if you're sleeping 8 in there, you're not going to enjoy your trip. Okay, that's way too many people in this small confined area, and those beds are not the most comfortable. Okay. So this particular is a travel trailer. You can see the hitch on the front, and again, this model, if you can stay away from it, this is where things get a little tight in the bedroom. The headboard is up against the front of the camper where it's not a slide out, and the areas alongside the bed are very tight. Is it functional? Absolutely. If you want something a little bit more comfortable, this might not be the model for you. Okay. This is a fifth wheel. This particular model has a queen bed or king is optional, and that headboard slides out. It's a very nice, comfortable area. Take a look at the power theater seating area. These are pointed directly at the high-def TV with a fireplace below that, which is a great heating system as well as extra ambiance. Some of these come with residential refrigerators in them, opposed to just the small camper refrigerator. The good part about the camping refrigerators, they run on propane and electric if you are somebody who's going to hit the open road and go off the grid, as they say. But this is in this common living area, you probably have a 12-foot ceiling. In the Montanas, you usually do, and that gives you a lot of cabin space and a very open feel to it. Okay. NRVIA is National RV Inspectors Association. If you're buying a pre-owned camper, you might really want to call these folks or somebody similar to them in your area to take a look at the camper before you buy it. For a fee, they'll come out and they'll do various inspections, and they offer different levels of inspection depending on how much you are concerned with, how much you can afford to spend for their services. But you can have them check out the electrical system, check out the plumbing system, the sewage system, and so forth and so on. Heating system, the air conditioning, the ranges, the microwaves, so forth and so on. There's a lot to consider, and these people are very good at what they do, and it can give you some peace of mind as you buy a pre-owned RV that everything is in good working order. Spend a little up front, you might have some peace of mind later on, or avoid a catastrophe that would not be a fun trip to find out you have major issues on the trip. Okay. So the red flags, used vehicles. On the exterior, when you're going around the camper, you want to look for corrosion and rust. Not so much on the body of it, because most of them are going to be fiberglass or aluminum. You want to look underneath in the framing, the axles, the wheels, and so forth, the hitch, and so forth. Look to see if there's any excessive rust in those areas. Take a look at the tires for dry rot. Campers sit for long periods of time, and if it's 5 years old, 6 years old, there's a good chance that you have some dry rot in those tires, which makes them they could possibly have a blowout at any time if they are or a significant leak, at least if they have dry rot. Loose roofing caulk, I mentioned that earlier. That'll come over into the next column where we're talking about interior. But if caulk's not maintained and in good condition, you take a real close look at the interior as you go in looking for those water spots and mold that we're going to be talking about. Faded paint, obviously aesthetically pleasing. You want it to look as nice as possible. Somebody who's taking good care of their camper probably is going to keep it clean and keep that from happening. As you go into the interior, here's where we're looking for water damage. Up along the roof lines, around skylights, air vents, and so forth. Look to see if there's water stains in those areas, and if there is, I probably would stay away from that camper, because if you see one water stain, there's a good chance there's a lot of water damage that you can't see inside the walls and causing electrical issues and so forth and so on. Check all the electrical components, turn lights on, off, check the HVAC system and various other electrical equipment. Propane. Propane's scary for a lot of people. It's actually very safe if it's maintained, and check that. Make sure that that the heater ignites properly, that the stove ignites properly, and also if it has the propane powered refrigerator, make sure that works as well. And obviously you want to sniff around to make sure there aren't any obvious leaks as well. Okay, if most things in propane are working, it's pretty safe assumptions that you're not having any leak, but still check nonetheless. Okay, common overlooked features for the outdoor and functionality is the winter packages, benefits of maintenance of the slide outs. Make sure that the seals have been properly taken care of on the slide outs. Watch for the fuel economy. The stabilizer jacks, make sure that they aren't bent. People use stabilizing jacks as lifters, and they're not. They're really just stabilizers and should not be used to raise the camper up off the ground. So keep an eye on that. Take a look at those. Make sure that they're in good working order and not twisted. You want to take a look at the size of the water tanks, the hot water heater. Nothing worse than a cold shower. So if you only have a 5 or 6 gallon hot water heater in there and a big family, you might want to look for something that can accommodate your family a little bit better in that area. I love the idea that my camper has a jet cleaning system in the black water tank. It actually, when I hook up to it with the hose, it actually sprays and flushes out the area and keeps it nice and clean and good working order. Outdoor kitchens, great feature. I wish I had one, but it's nice to be able to be outside and have a grill and stove and a small refrigerator on the outside of it. And also take a look for something that has ample storage for you. Okay, there's a lot of storage under the bed. There's usually outdoor compartments as well.
Steve, before we move forward, you did have a question that came in, And the question is, can you give us some detail on what a winter package is?
Winter package some campers are designed to be able to go into very cold environments, and they'll be rated for different degree weather, kind of like a jacket or a comforter, or a sleeping bag, where you could use it in 5 below zero weather, and they're better insulated. They'll have heat wrap on the water pipes and so forth, so they don't freeze up, and you can still maintain your plumbing operation and have heated not only water supply, but your waste tanks as well will stay warm so they don't freeze up and stop functioning.
All right, and that was our last question for now.
Okay, so the kitchen, counter space I mentioned before, really important. It's hard to when you have something small as what we're seeing here. That's a little difficult to prepare a meal on. Most campers are going to have a 3-burner stove. That's about as big as it's going to get. But again, it's going to be something you want to think about with the size of your family. Refrigerator size, again, you can get some that the refrigerator is as big as or bigger than what you have in your home. Others are much smaller, so take a look for that. Cabinet space, obviously that's a really important thing, because you don't want to have things not properly put away, especially while you're traveling from one spot to another. Dinette set, some people love the benches. I particularly like the table and chairs. Dishwasher is a luxury I've never had in a camper, but would be nice, I guess. And ice maker is a real plus, saving you a lot of trips down to the camp store to buy a 5-pound bag of ice at an overpriced number. All right, so bedrooms and living space. One of the nicest things you can have is have a bathroom and a half, for obvious reasons. It's just a great feature. Limited bedroom space, again. You want to have something that you can move around, and imagine yourself standing in that camper and putting on a pair of pants. If it seems like it would be a struggle, it probably is. Privacy, some campers don't have, they don't come equipped with an actual door. They use curtains for bunk areas and bedroom areas. If you have people that are up at different hours and have different sleeping habits, that might be a problem. Washers and dryers, many campers will have the hookups for those, and you can upgrade. Some of them actually come with a washer and dryer. Air conditioning units, and in some cases it is units. Many fifth wheels and larger campers will have two air conditioning units, a main one in the living area, and then another in the sleeping quarters. Poor TV placement is a pet peeve of mine. If I have to sit on a couch and have my head turned 90 degrees to one direction to see the TV, that's just not comfortable. So you want to take a look at that layout and how you're going to be most comfortable in that respect. Okay. All right. So now we've maybe located that camper that really hits all the hot spots for you, pushes all the buttons, and let's talk about how we're going to get that camper and get it at a price that is most reasonable. And number one, make sure that we here at Ardent have secured that financing for you, and you know exactly where you are on that part of it, and then go into this as a cash buyer ready to go. This will motivate the sales managers to be a little bit more aggressive with the pricing for you and come to a number that you could be happier with. Price check similar models. There seems to be thousands of different campers out there, but still, price check doesn't have to be the exact same Jayco model to Jayco model. It can be similar Montana to a Jayco, or whatever it might be, just as long as they're reasonably equipped. And you can use that as leverage to get to a price that you would like to have. So use one location to another, and see where the numbers come in strongest, and take that number to the dealer you prefer, with the camper you prefer. Excuse me. Research dealerships before getting too involved with them. Excuse me. Obviously, you can, Better Business Bureau, blogs, and so forth, and find out what these people are like. There are dealers out there that once you've bought the camper, they forget your name 10 seconds later, and give you equal service to that. There's others out there that are absolutely awesome, and I've had both experiences, and it's really a pleasure to work with the people that I do now. And I get calls back, I get assistance, I get the respect that I was hoping to have when I made the purchase. Okay. Okay. We're bouncing just a little bit there. Okay. Two dealers is better than one. Again, you get pricing from a couple different dealers, and make sure that you're getting to that best possible number. Most importantly, if you don't feel it's all it could be prepared to get up and walk away from it. There's plenty of other places out there, and you can always come back to this if you find out that maybe it was truly the best possible opportunity. But don't be afraid to get up and leave. You're in control, and if you're not in control, that means they are. So buyer beware. Okay, most camping stores, have great people working for them, but still, we want you to be in the best financial position. Okay. So let's not go it alone. Here at Ardent Credit Union, we have an RV buying concierge service that I would be more than happy to help you with, work with you one-on-one, be able to give you more coaching and address your personal concerns and questions and issues, and be able to help you through the process. Help you to find out, where it is you can locate the RV of your choice, help you negotiate the price, help you to lock down that financing through Ardent Credit Union at an extremely low rate and at a term that makes sense for you in a payment. Okay?
Steve, we do have a question about this service before we move forward. The question is, what's the cost to have the Ardent RV Buying Concierge help me?
If we add it all up, you want the full total?
Yes.
Okay, it's free. Yeah, the concierge service is free to our members, and again, it's because we want to have you in the best position you could possibly be in, so that you can go and enjoy this RV, enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy different parts of our beautiful country in the RV that really makes you happy without the reservations of whether or not you made a wise choice. Ardent is here for you as your credit union, and this extenuation of service in the concierge program is a prime example of that. It is our pleasure to be able to help you through this process. We're here to get you the best possible financing and give you the best advice we know possible.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Yes. So this is another site that you might want to consider after you've gotten your RV. It's called RV Life, and it's kind of a neat spot that we've come across that actually takes you through a trip, and you can actually find new places, make plans how you're going to make it happen, and so forth and so on. They have a GPS system that you can use off your phone with an app, and then of course you can engage with other people they can engage with you, and you can talk about your experiences and give each other some great advice as well. So, this isn't the only one out there, but this is one that really I've learned to appreciate, and maybe you would too. So, there's a lot of good help out there like that. All right. Please take a moment and take down my contact information here, and I'm most always available. I'll make myself available to you, especially when if you're in a dealership and you're feeling uncertain about different things. Please call me while you're standing in the dealership, and let's talk about what's happening, and I'll tell you whether or not it does make sense or not, whether to stay or go. Okay. And I guess we have time for additional questions?
Yes, we do. And we do have a couple questions that have come
Great.
from Steve. So one of the questions is, do you suggest looking to buy an RV out of state?
Out of state?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. RVs are not as plentiful as cars. Okay, so it's a good chance you're going to have to take a broader look around and see what's out there. Obviously, the further away it is, the more you want to know about it before taking the trip. Have that dealership or private owner send you video walkarounds of the RV, and get as much information as possible before you go out there and possibly waste time and money on a trip.
Okay. Our next question is, I've heard RVs are hard to find right now. Do you have any tips for finding one?
Well, RV Trader is a good place to start. I like that particular website to locate it. Marketplace, I've seen with RVs on there, Facebook Marketplace, that is. Yeah, the market is a little bit tight right now because of the pandemic. A lot of people have chosen to take their family camping opposed to staycations and having to stay at home. It's a very safe way of getting out and enjoying things. So the market has been depleted of inventory in a lot of areas, but at the same time, they are out there, and a lot of people are upgrading all the time from one size camper to another, an older model to a newer model. So you certainly can find them. On the new side, a lot of people I know are having to, actually order the camper, which isn't such a terrible idea because that camper is now built to your specifications, with of course some limitations, but with the features that are really important to you: the central vacuum cleaning system, the dual air conditioning units, the larger hot water heaters, and so forth and so on. So there's a lot that you can customize if you have it built yourself.
All right. Another question we have is a pool behind very expensive to insure?
No. No, I don't really want to put a figure to what I experienced because everybody's policies are a little bit different, but it's certainly less than what I pay for my car insurance, if that gives you a clue.
All right, and we have time just for one more question, and this is, can you suggest any local campgrounds for a first-time RV buyer to experience?
Local to the Philadelphia area? Okay. There's Ringing Rocks Campground, which is in Upper Black Eddy. That's in Upper Bucks County. I live in Lower Bucks County, so it's about a half-hour drive for me to get there. There's Colonial Woods in that same area. Very nice campground. If you want to go a little bit further, but not too far, there's Otter Lake, which is in the Poconos. I think the town's called Marshall Creek. I enjoy Oak Creek Campground. It's a venture-bound chain of campgrounds. They have Tall Pines, which is in South Jersey, down in Vineland area, I think it is. Venture Bound also has Eagles Peak, which is a little bit further out than Reading, Lancaster area. And then, like I said, Oak Creek is in Narvon. There's Spring Gulch, which is out in the Lancaster area. There's quite a few nice campgrounds in and around the Gettysburg area, which is a great place to go. There's so much to see out there and so much history to enjoy. I can't think of any of the names of them right now, but we could talk about that a little bit more if somebody wants some more locations.
All right, and that was our last question, Steve. Thank you.
My pleasure. I hope everybody was able to get a little something out of this. I really want to extend the concierge service to you, and please take advantage of it. There'll be questions I won't have answers to, but I certainly can find out the best answers, the correct answers for any questions you might have. Please don't hesitate to call on us. It's a very not complicated, but a very involved decision to make the purchase. So there's a lot of details that we should talk about on a one-on-one conversation. Okay? So I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. There will be a short survey sent out, and we would love to hear your feedback to help us improve for our future workshops. Once again, thank you and have a great night.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the webinar.